for goal. Shot for goal. Shot for goal. Shot for goal.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you might be tuning in from. Welcome to our weekly analysis show of wonder and lore of all that's happening in the world of Ultimate. I'm your host, Stefan Ravazzo. Alongside Noah Brinkworth. I'm a long way from home normally. Noah's right back in his comfy home seat. I'm still in Hawaii. We're here for the Kaimana Klassik, and we got so much to talk about this week. That's going to be the better part of the focus. Noah, how you doing over there in not mainland Europe, but continental Europe, in the UK, with the frigid weather, while I'm here soaking up the Hawaiian sun?
Yeah, I can't lie, Steph. It's dark and dreary. Lots of rain and wind today. And I heard there's a little bit of wind in Hawaii, but I was pretty jealous watching the streams, but also really excited because the level of play was top-notch, especially in the mana division. Can't lie, Steph, it's very early in the morning for you. It's never been more true, your intro about everyone coming in from different times of the day and everything. But I just want you to tell me about what Hawaii was like.
Yeah, it is. It has just been so incredible. It's like the most welcoming place. And for us, that's the tournament directors. They were from the minute we rolled in, not even like from before we got here. They were really on top of everything. I arrived. There's somebody there checking me in, but also talking to me, being a human there. Telling me where I should go a day early and go, go have a drink here, go try some food here, go just point me in the right direction, and beyond. Like then we met, there's a tournament crew of probably 7 or 8 on the organizing committee, and each one of them kind of came over, said hi, helped us out. What do you guys need? There was always helpfulness. So there was a real sense of welcoming. The aloha spirit, the mahalo spirit that they have is really alive and well. They preach it, they talk about it, like it's a part of their opening ceremony. And by doing that, you really do feel it. And the tournament location itself, like Waikiki Beach is like, I don't know, surfer's paradise, or like Miami Beach, or like picture, Jersey Shore, or I don't know, like a super, like a surf city, popular, a big industrial city on a coast. There's a lot of surf culture around it, but mostly it was built there because of the access to the beach. And this beach is just, it's stunning. There's a reef, and there's some surfers there at the back. There's a natural pool built in on the shoreline, volleyball courts up and down, and then you go to Kapiolani Park, which is really right at the end of the strip. So like there's a whole strip, and you get to the end, and there's this park in between the zoo and the aquarium, and that's where Kaimana is. Next to Kaimana Beach, actually, there's a beach called Kaimana, and then those fields are like adjacent to the giant mountain, or it's like a volcanic crater is what it is, called Leahi, or in English they call it Diamond Head. And it's this like glorious like volcanic crater that goes all the way to the coastline. It's just beautiful. So that's the start to kick things off for you there, Noah. It's very welcoming, and just this, I don't know, seat in heaven to play Ultimate. It's like the most idyllic conditions to go and play Ultimate.
I was just talking to Steph before we started and just trying to find one reason or another why it wasn't paradise, but I totally failed. I mean, the question I know that's on everyone's lips, Steph, is, did you get late?
You better, dude. I did get laid. I was very lucky. The captain's meeting was at the welcome party was at the aquarium, and the captain's meeting was 7 o'clock in front of the Shark Tank. And it was very Austin Powers kind of vibes, as noted in the meeting. But to start the captain's meeting off, every one of the captains was honored for their part in organizing and helping out and giving a lay. I was invited to go to the captain's meeting so that I would know what was going on and could, talk about it in the broadcast and all this and that. And I was like, I'm an imposter here. I'm not a real captain. Were you invited? And I was like, yeah. Well, you get laid too. So, so I did get laid in the collective laying of captains. And yeah, just another cool wrinkle about the tournament. That was amidst a little bit of a pizza party at the aquarium. There's some live music there, and it was like, yeah, just a start to the mixer to get the weekend going.
Sounds like the tournament's hosting quite like a lively area, like people around and like not in the middle of the strip, but on the end of the strip. And if you got a aquarium and zoo between each other, there might be some foot traffic, seeing some ultimate in Hawaii. I mean, is there any local teams that play in Kaimana, like teams from other Hawaiian islands or
Yeah,
Kiki?
there's a handful from Kauai and from the Big Island. There was Big and Wet, and there was, I think, Bag of Wine was another one from an island. There's a handful of these teams that are still from Hawaii. Hawaii FBC is the hosting team, fun but competitive, or they also call it F Boy Club, or they're also called Anti Boat Club. They've got a few different iterations, but they were wild. Chris Garth was one of the hosts. He got on and commentated with us too. But a great Hawaiian spirit. And where did we start this question? What ramble was I on here? I now already
Hawaiian
forget.
teams at the tournament. Hawaiian
Yes,
Ultimate.
these Hawaiian teams. So, I mean, I was chatting with one of the girls at the start from the Big Island, and she's like, "Why is Ulti TV here?" And almost like upset about it. We might get to this in the when we talk about some Reddit posts that might need some mention. Uh, Anyways, it is in the Reddit post. Yeah, she's wondering why are you here. Like, we had 65 teams wanting to be here. We don't need to promote it. We don't need to make it bigger. It's like you always want to make it bigger and better and more visible. Like let the people who are here feel that they are seen, and let the people from afar wish they were here. Like there's so many great reasons, and it was weird to have to lay them out. I think but at the end of the day, it was a little bit of we're worried that us Hawaiian teams might not keep our places if it is a matter of growing and getting bigger and stronger teams. And I think there is an unofficial criteria that will protect the local teams from always kind of having a spot here, enough places for a large part of the Hawaiian community to still be able to compete, to stay as participants in Kaimana, because they're such a huge part of it. And as I said, if they are members of the community that are helping to build the community, then Kaimana is going to keep them in contention for selection, no matter how many more people are wanting to get in the door.
Maybe we can return to that Reddit post later in the show. Let's start not with the Mana division. What's the other division called, Steph? The Aloha division.
Aloha.
So Aloha division is the kind of more casual party division. So why don't you talk to me about some of the parties and some of the party games in the Aloha division? Tell me all about that.
Aloha was Spirit division. It was. These are the teams that carried the parties. So, like, the first night's parties, I got my Kaimana Klassik Frisbee I'd been meaning to show, and I got the nicest before you know the party, the nicest drawing from Mayu, one of our Japanese colleagues who came out. Shempe and Mayu came over and did a whole bunch of filming tech work. They were great. So I'll talk a little more about the team later too. But where was I again? You got to keep putting. It's too early in the morning here. No, I'm going off.
Talking about the Kaimana parties and the Aloha division.
That's right. Parties were crazy. First night was the aquarium. That was calm as a party. Actually, it was like a no booze party. They were giving it. They had a whole. I got really loose on 6 juices. I think.
Loose on the juices.
It was loose on Capri Sun. Juice packets. I was all hopped up on the chicken.
We wouldn't want to disturb the sharks and all the other creatures.
The next night party was at a gay bar called Velvet. There's a drag show going on in there, so they kind of stopped the party for a little while to start the drag presentation, but we really tied one into the other. It wasn't much. It was, a couple of poles there, stage. So that was going on. That was banging. And then, right next door, they had access to ballerinas. So the ballet, which is a strip club, and Koi, which is a Japanese fusion lounge. So those two, I didn't make it to those two parts of the party, but I think as the night went on, the after 2 a.m.ers were dispersing themselves amongst these 3 bars that were really all right next to one another.
I'm really sorry, Stef, that you couldn't quite make it to the Japanese fusion lounge. I'm sure you would have chosen that over the ballerinas.
Yeah, ballerinas, that would have been not my thing. But, if people are going and that's what they kind of like, then all the power to them. So that was, I would say as Ulti-TVers, we're quite responsible with our partying. We were home by midnight-ish, just a bit after on the first night. And then, we had our early morning. So Aloha division, though, to go with it, they were. Well, hang on. The second night party, there were some awards given out, including the Spirit Award that was a tie. And then they had a boat race to see boat race on stage in front of the party to see who won the Spirit division. And that went to Bag of Wine, the team called Bag of Wine. But Aloha division was just there to party. A lot of the teams there have been legacy teams, been doing it for years and years. And they play hard too. The teams are not bad in the lower division at Kaimana. They are, they get their hands full if they were to play Kapuni Ohana, but they don't have to. They're seeded out before the tournament starts, and they're there to get loose. You get down to the finals, the semis and finals in the Aloha division where they started getting competitive. Jolly Bay versus Stoned Fruit was, that was proper, good ultimate at the top of the bottom there. The Filipino team looked like, I thought they were going to get away with it, but Stoned Fruit pulled together a good final. The Aloha division was well represented. I think that's another thing that Kaimana did is this stream is for the people who are playing and for everybody to watch everything. We don't need to just, double stack our semifinals and Mana division. They gave a lot of stream time to the Aloha division too. So all those players can watch themselves back, share with their friends and families and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe let's move on to the Mana division now, the more competitive division. Players not sticking around for the ballerinas or the Japanese fusion clubs specifically.
Hang on. I still got to tell you more about the Saturday party now that we're at it. Then we'll talk Mana division. So the Saturday party was, it kicked off with the tiebreaker was the boat racing. then there was like an award for Mondo Chen, who was one of the legacy organizers, the heart of Kaimana. And Lev Gerstel, the current TD, won that award, which he was excited about.
Nice.
And then so Chris Garth, who was the host, he used to be like a surf commentator. Him and I crossed paths for 3 months, like more than a decade ago, way more than a decade ago. So he came to the Gold Coast, and as he put it, like, you just drove me around to like Byron Bay and Brisbane and like every Frisbee event for like a couple months. It was awesome. And then I remembered it, of course. But when he came right over to me, he's like, "Do you remember me, man?" So this guy Chris Garth was putting on a show on the stage, basically a comedy show, and then he introduced a burlesque evening. And there was 4 burlesque dancers. One of them plays ultimate, but they did renditions of burlesque performances, getting their kid off. When you really break it down. And the second last one, sorry, was a woman who started off in like an angelic robe of frisbees, and was integrating frisbee catching between her legs and whatnot into her burlesque act, which was something I had never ever seen before.
I'm not sure OTV can really claim to have streamed all the action from Kaimana after hearing some of these stories, Steph. I think there were some things that unfortunately the YouTube Terms of Service wouldn't permit us to stream, much that we would love to. But sometimes many of these things you have to come out to Kaimana to see it for yourself.
That's exactly it. So that is like, that breaks down the parties a bit more. There's some on-field partying going on, but that we don't talk about. But it's absolutely wild. So now I think I'm ready to answer your questions about the Mana division, because it was a pretty exciting division. I thought there were some really great teams. Probably 6 to 8 deep, the top 8 for sure. And the Mana division were teams that could swing it at most tournaments in the world and be contenders.
The first thing I want to talk to you about in the Mana division isn't even a team, Steph, and I wonder if you can think about what it might be or who it might be. I want to talk Coco main guy or Coco Monji, breakout star of the tournament. I had a little look on Instagram. Seems like he's got a Vanuatu flag in his bio. This guy seems elusive. I'm really interested to hear all about him. He was playing on Southern Skies, is that right?
Yeah. I talked to Max Halden about him. I didn't get that. I chatted to him briefly. I did chat to him at the party. But I mean, he's Monji, but his name spells main guy, and you can't not call him main guy when he's playing the way he is, dude. Like, I should really be calling him for a SuperTeam contract. I don't know if we can get him over here. He lives in Melbourne now. He's from Vanuatu. He doesn't have a WUCC team, so he is looking for a team. So anybody out there who's looking for players, why the hell are you not calling Coco right now? He's got the best sellies in the business, like the bounce twist into backflip, then like the no hands headstand. Like, have you seen that? The pin? Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that at all. I feel like
he went up
there's been like so many clips, and I feel like I've not even seen all of it.
He had like 5 good Selly clips that will eventually get up, but obviously his playmaking better. It's super athletic, lean, lanky, and he lays out really well with sticky hands. Doesn't make mistakes throwing. I wouldn't say he's like the most accomplished thrower right now, but he's still a very good thrower. And dude is main guy Coco Monji, Corentin Monji is one to watch. I think I'd say you're absolutely right to have him on the radar. Played for Southern Skies. They got a bronze medal. He was their best player. And they were an Australian team that has a core that plays together. So it's probably a team that's a little bit tougher to stand out on, like going on to the Lions or going on to Southern Skies or Miss Chef, or, there's 4 or 5 teams that have these playing cores that would make it tougher to put a high skilled player onto as a pickup. But they seem to fit it in perfectly over there.
I mean, if you're not totally sure what we're talking about here, you can head over to the Alter TV Instagram and see some of Monji's elite plays. I mean, almost half of the clips that have gone out from Kaimana are of Monji doing some of the most incredible things. I love, for one, the disc kind of knocked and tumbled out of the air into layout roll and catch.
After he already had a layout earlier in the sequence that is clipped into that clip. Like he's just everywhere.
Absolutely.
So I gotta call him. I am building a super team. I do know. I was aware of that over the course of the weekend. Don't you worry about that. I was doing some recruiting.
I mean, a lot of players, I believe, on some of these teams we're going to talk about in the final may already be taken, Stef. So the 2 teams, standouts, we were talking about them before the tournament. The Linda Lions, this Bay Area Fury and Revolver combo team with some ringers as well. But mostly Fury and Revolver, or recently
No ringers. Every single person is on Revolver or on Fury.
Oh, fair enough. I stand corrected.
I mean, do you need a ringer if everyone's a rostered player of 2 of the best teams in the world?
I can't imagine you do, Steph. I can't imagine you do whatsoever. I thought there might be some kind of like partners of Fury Revolver players and stuff like that, but we know how Frisbee works. There's a lot of people coupling up between top teams anyway. But anyway, they were who I tipped to win the tournament, and I didn't mind that prediction going into the final, although it was always going to be a tough ask to come against Kapuni Ohana, which ringers is a more accurate descriptor there. This was a pickup super team, some of the classic kind of like guns for hire you see in Ultimate, Manuela Cardenas, Lev Kowalczak. You can tell us some more stuff. Kenny Taylor of Be Ultimate sponsorship fame. Alex Atkins, after his earlier trip to the UK for indoor nationals, has to come all the way back to mainland US and then to Hawaii for that tournament. Tell me who you thought stood out this weekend. Tell me a bit more about the background of this team, because this is a super team, Steph. This is a stacked team, but not your doing in this instance. Someone you may have heard if you've heard our podcast or if been listening to Pod Praxis. Benson, I believe, put this team together, part of Flatball Club. Tell us a bit more about how that works.
Yeah, Benson's. I love his work. He's into media and video. His Flatball Club is like drone-based footage, but he does do some edits and some like travel edits and some tournament vibe edits. He's always said he wants to make Ultimate like a surf video where like the video is like an interview of them hanging out back at the house and like being part of like the vibe around the sport, like literally like being on tour with the sport. And then like you would run clips of them making plays over top of an interview of them like in their most chillest form with their teammates, like we're with their opponents in a surf video, but with their teammates, and that's kind of what he wanted to create. And Kapuni Ohana, I think, has worked well for him. It's in at least its 3rd year, maybe more. I think it's more that he's been coming to Kaimana. He's been winning a bunch of them. But yeah, he's able to. There's some assistance available to get players all together to be able to pull this kind of stuff off. And he does a great job of it. He's got a great network. His kids are all a part of it. 2 of them actively playing. Ellie's there. It's a whole family affair for the Dastrips. And I think they had a absolute blinder this weekend. I know Benson paces up and down the sidelines sweating and stressing every game. And like any coach or GM would, like it ain't done until it's done. And But I think he also basks in the glory of victory as well as anyone, and really enjoys coming away with the win. And they all went to Kauai right after the win. I think they won, and by 8:30 they were on a plane to the island of Kauai. Benson's father has a place there with lots of space around it for camping, and they all go there after, and so they spent some time before and after, and he does kind of create this vibe, and it's obviously going to be a shit hot team, but I think he does a really good job of picking the right parts for it. I thought the FMPs were the stronger side of the board, and I think that's smart. But with I think the top 5 women on that 6. I mean, you can keep going deeper. Now I feel like I'm dissing anybody who's not in that 5 or 6. But like, okay, Levka, Manu, Kayla, Dawn Colton, and Alex Barnett, McKinley McQuaid. That's like 6. That is like, so holy crap! Like, if you're talking your 6 deep women are Wade and Barnett or something like that, you're talking about a roster that is just dripping in talent. On the MMP side, I thought Alex Atkins was the best player on that team this weekend. Kenny Taylor and Zilst, probably the next 2. They were very, very good. But a lot of young standout players. The other Pac-Man kid, Drew Loughnane. He was wearing a 33 shirt. It was very good. Middlesbrough, young kid, was good. Tony Munga, a player from Utah who doesn't get much burn in the club series, plays a bit of UFA, has to travel to play more often than not, but is a very good player. Simon Dastrup, one of the Dastrup kin, was very good, especially in the semi. I think he got like 4 blocks in the final, had like 2 pivotal break assists. He played very well. So yeah, they gelled well together. They didn't go all dripping, superstars only. They did put some role players in, but the role players all stepped up. Everybody did their job. You get people like Kalakovic and Mikey Lund on that team that are, not there for their current playing form, but do so much more for the campaign. And they know their role in the final and play less and then play more throughout the course of the weekend, keep the legs fresh so the team can get over the line.
Absolutely. And the final was those 2 teams we've already alluded to, if not said it explicitly. It was a super windy affair, Stef. I think there was a kind of crosswind across the weekend coming towards the camera. Am I right? That was at least the case mostly in the final. But there was a bit of an upwind, downwind as well. Like, there's a bit of a preference of which way you wanted to go. Quite a lot of zone played in the final by the Linda Lions, for sure. There's a couple early Manu mistakes, which got the Linda Lions ahead. Kins made a couple of errors at the start as well. And the Linda Lions didn't get like crazy up, but just trading one up or trading half a point up, a point and a half up. But in the back end of the game, as Kapuni Ahana kind of took it to the Lions. Tell me more about the game, Stef.
Yeah, their second half surge out of the Lions is what I thought. I thought they were in it enough in the first half. Couple of mistakes, like most of the points that they got broken on, they had good chances to score. Like they were right thereabout, or maybe there's 1 or 2 that were like a sloppy early turn. But for the most part, they went on the field and showed that they were capable of progressing and capable of scoring more often than not. And there was I had enough belief that they were going to stay in it.
Despite some insane wind, like.
Yeah, okay, and the wind was insane. Like, it really, that was the one consistency. When you watch these games, the final with that many prolific players still only went to 13-9 in a game to 15. Like, offense is limited big time. Like, Levka's huck, she had one forehand huck that she caught off a bobble. I don't think video does justice to how awesome that throw was, and a lot of the deep
She cranks that throw.
Yeah, that was a macho sidewinder if I've ever seen a macho sidewinder. It's a pod practice uniform reference there, but yeah, Levka's throws, but it was, I think, like after day one was in the books, I was like, okay, so the best throwing team is going to have the advantage team. Whoever's got the best throwers across the board all weekend that's okay. Tough to say, but when you do have a team full of all-stars, yeah, usually they have their all-stars because they're well-rounded and throwing is a strong part of their game. And I mean, again, Manu and Levka were the quarterbacks, the backfield of Kapuni Ohana's attack. And they were, once they got going, there was just no adjusting available that was stopping them. Like, they were definitely trying to key off on them, like have people fail, like any of the MMPs fade off, clog their space, just make it difficult in any which way, switching whoever was on them. But there was no undoing the two of them. You could get one of them for one or two cuts. You could get two of them for maybe one cut. But really, like, one cut later, two cuts later, one of the two of them is back open and getting the disc and driving it forward again. So in the Lions, though, like, you know, they were stacked too. If you think of World Games reps and stuff with Michael Ing, Carolyn Finney, Anna Thompson, Kristen Johnson was an alternate, like, full of World Gamers there. Simon Higgins, one of the best players of all time, was there. Simon T. Higgins, Jason Valley, a top defender there. Their MMP side probably aged out a little quicker, but a lot of those guys played really well and had, you know, great connections and are guys that have played in a lot of big games. So they get to a situation like that, and okay, it's Kaimana. This isn't Worlds. This isn't Nationals. Like, we've done this before. Like, they can still stay in it and with it. But globally, that was the difference. It was more often than not on the first few points, both teams were turning over ambitiously, going for goals. But as the game went on, it was the fatigue of long points, let's say, that would wear off against a team, and then they would be looking good and moving well, and, you know, one swing throw would get gobbled up by the wind, and, you know, one fundamental throw was not perfect, and Kapuni Ohana was taking advantage, and some crazy break throws. I mean, I still remember the Kins backhand that he picked up and bombed to wide open Simon Dastrup. That was like in a zone transition, if I recall correctly, but it was, yeah, just not all the way into the end zone for the Lions. They were looking good, looking strong. I think until about 10 minutes in the second half, I did believe that there's a chance they could still claw this back. And then, you know, once we get to about the last 15 minutes of the game, I was like, it's going to take a miracle here. I think Kapuni Ohana's put a good enough roster together, and they're going to see this one through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe someone needs to take a few lessons from building a super team at there, Stef. I mean, absolutely brutal for a Fury team to come against Levka Wolchak after they crushed their title favorite dreams, their golden season dreams in 2025, dismantling that Fury offense at the start of the game. So definitely the player they would least like to go up against. Absolute targeted recruitment, something that's a very effective way to build a team. Why don't we talk a little bit more about super teams, that Reddit post you were talking about earlier, why we were at Kaimana, all of that sort of stuff after we take a quick break.
Sounds perfect, Noah. Let's do that.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Alti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat.
sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
You'll find Stef Pazzo at YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must-Eat series.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And traded the tip and made good.
That was absolutely incredible.
Welcome back to Shot for Goal. I'm still Stef Pazzo. That's still No Brinkworth. And we're talking all things Kaimana Classic. The absolute, like, it is like the perfect name for a tournament. It is a classic. And I think that's something we might end up talking about here is this tournament, because it's a tick on the bucket list, it will lend us to a best tournament in the world conversation. Because this is immediately in the running for that. I'll tell you that right now, Noah. But before we get there, we were talking, there's some, opinions are like buttholes, so they say. Everybody's got one. You don't necessarily need to go around showing them to everybody. But the world of Reddit is a great opinion display board. And it was brought to our attention that there's some Reddit posts that revolve around, what was happening at Kaimana, what revolves around super teaming. And we thought we would address those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to read out the post, Steph. Tuneful Pegasus writes, "Am I the only one who doesn't like super teams? First it was Tokai Super Team at Windmill, now UltiTV Team at party tournaments in Europe, and now Kaimana Classic, all your big names in one. I don't know, some billionaire copying all these costs to create a super team gives Hunger Games popularity contest vibes. I'm sure the individuals have a great time who wouldn't want all expenses paid for playing in cool tournaments with friends and good players. Sure, if I was given the opportunity, I'd say yes. I think it is similar to the invites of certain players gets tournaments in Dubai, China, and Japan, whereas different super teams like Next Gen and Eurostars felt more homegrown. Maybe it was Road Tour vibe of it, opposed to pay a bunch of ultimate celebrities to play together for highlight and engagement." Talk to me, Steph. As the key super team merchant, what do you think?
Who is this guy, first of all? Okay, let's break this down from top to bottom. Yes, there was a Tokai super team at Windmill, and then again at London Invite. You forgot to mention that poster. There's some multi-TV teams, and then what does it say? Then so at Kaimana, multi-TV has no part of the teams there, just as far as getting these associations right. We were broadcasting. There was another team that was stacked and were doing, I think, which you are getting sick of. There's no billionaire behind it. There are people putting some funding behind it. Here at Bling, there's people putting funding behind it. Bling and Super Team are different, but they kind of work down the same path. Here's the thing, like, who cares if you like it or not? Is really what it comes down to. And I say who cares, and I into a bit of jest here, but who's to stop it anyway? Like, would anyone be told how they can make a team? Like, everyone plays and trains to be the best. They administrate and they get the best coaches and managers so that they can be the best, that they can win more Frisbee games. And as much as people will say, no, but we're in it for fun and we're in it for good times. Like, if you are going to top tournaments and you are a player that has been around the block a lot, there is nothing better than winning ultimate games, and that's why people do it. And so if your resources are abundant enough that you can utilize them towards these same goals of excellence building, I don't understand why you wouldn't. And I don't understand why that rubs people the wrong way a lot of the time. Like, I get it, but it's mostly because I have less of a chance. Like, I think the key part of that is, sure, I would do it if they asked me. I think, the players who are doing this are being selected to these teams. I think it's great for them to be rewarded for something in the sport of Ultimate, where all they have to do is fork out and pay for everything they do. They're the best. They get exploited to some end by brands, and they're walking billboards in social media. These players they pay their own ways to go to almost every single competition. And now there's somebody who's willing to help out. Now there's a sponsor who's willing to say, hey, I'm not just going to use somebody's likeness. I'm going to get behind the sport more. I'm going to put some money. I'm going to put some avenues down so these players can play. Then it becomes, similar to how the USAU chat was after World Games. Like, why is USAU helping out World Games so much? It's like, geez, okay, there has to be balance, yes, between grassroots and elite support, and there has to be a bit of both. You got to grow both sides. But if we are ever going to be in a situation where elite players can dedicate their life to the sport and not have to totally worry about balancing a second job or like a primary income to go with it, and they can make Ultimate their primary income, and we can see where this sport goes, like the likes of soccer, football, basketball, players can dedicate every part of their life and every day to it, then these kind of things have to happen. There has to be avenues to players being remunerated for their efforts. There's Be Ultimate sponsored athletes. If there's another brand that comes around and does that doubles the capacity for athletes to be rewarded by something. These teams happen, there is the UFA that pays people. More often than not, they pay people's rent and they help them live in cities and communities. But it's like, it is giving these one more new pathway for people to dedicate their lives to Ultimate. And I think at the end of the day, hating on that is missing the big picture by my perspective. Is you're allowed to hate on whatever you want. Who am I to tell you? You don't like it, go stomp your feet and press your Reddit keys. I don't like this because I can't win anymore. And because I don't get picked on these teams is really what I hear about it. Is if I was better, though, I would. I'd be so happy I have this opportunity. And finally, the people who get the opportunity, they love nothing more than it's like to go to an all-star game. Okay, the merits are not based on your stats or fan voting or federation voting or committee voting. It is sometimes arbitrary, but more often than not, the people who are being rewarded with these opportunities are people who have dedicated one way or another to the sport, their body, their time, their whatever it is. And so, yeah, that's a bit of a long-winded answer, Noah. But what I say is that, I think there was a quote in there, money bags Rapazzo.
I think one of the comments jokingly calls you old money bags Rapazzo.
Old money bags Rapazzo. I don't know how joking it was. I mean, it's certainly not me throwing money around, but I am definitely there trying to find, allocate, and move money around so that it can go from people who want exposure to people who are dedicating their life to the sport, and make it like a happy transaction where both people get what they want, and we build the very early foundations of an industry for trade in Ultimate and reward in Ultimate. We're not having there's no contracts yet. I know there's some contracts in the UFA. There are contracts in the UFA, but it is like it has to start somewhere if it's ever going to get above the precipice and be a situation where people can be properly, regularly rewarded for their training and their play of Ultimate.
Let me like give a little perspective here. I think there's like, I maybe other people don't think this, but I personally kind of think there's a difference between the commercial marketing project super teams versus the I'm gonna pay some money to win the tournament super teams. Like, I think the commercial like marketing super teams are really, really sick because it's like the start of people being sponsored athletes and like people being able to build a personal brand and have a degree of playing prowess that allows them to make Ultimate, if not part of their job or semi-pro at it, but at least to cover some of the costs. I think where I kind of do agree with the poster is a little bit, and some of the other people in the comments, is the teams where there's not really a larger project around the team except for wanting to win the tournament, right? And spending, like, that's where to me it does feel a little bit pay to win. Like, you've gone into the shop and you've bought the most expensive weapons on like CSGO, or like bought the most expensive players on FIFA or something just to try and win. It feels like I kind of see where the poster's coming from.
Yeah, I guess I can see that too. But how is that possible to go in? That just walk me through the rest of the analogy though. Like, if you are playing a game, you can just like, if you have more money, you can win.
Yeah, like video games. Like, you can like.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a good representation of life. It's like a microcosm of like how things work. And if somebody wants and they've got power and money, they can do things in different ways and make things available differently. I get it.
Well, like, I mean, if Liam Grant was here, right, he would be talking about the Irish system of sport, where it's not professional, right? So there's like more incentive to build the local clubs and people playing counties. I think there is like an argument that's like, you know, if these players really want to come to the tournament, and it's totally would not be possible for many of these players, but like there's definitely the people who have also the people should be building their local teams argument. And I'm sure that Ireland isn't the only place that does this, and they also do have exceptions. The all Irish Margarita mixed team surely isn't embodying the Irish, the Irish tight-knit club culture where there's no pickups are allowed. Over the pond, I think Clapham are doing a more earnest job of never taking any pickups and building their team as a strict unit. We talked a bit about that and when we were talking about WOC pickups the other week, but I think there's something to be said that like a culture that discourages pickups like helps, you know, encourages local players who are the best player on their club to make everyone else better. Steph, tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a lot of like clubs that go to Kaimana or that are like club driven. Like they all have pickups of sorts. You know, most of the teams are the people throw together that don't get to play their club seasons together. Like, hey, let's link up for Kaimana, or let's link up. It used to be the way for Halibut, and even like to some end, you know, Windmill or Tom's. Like now it's a bit more club team focused, but it used to be less. And I still think like if you get a club team and you get a chance to get real meaningful reps against a team full of stars as a club team, again, you should be so thankful to get to play these awesome players. Again, to have a team like that at the tournament, if people are like, that's not fair, is it? What is the problem? It's not fair? Is that it?
I don't think that's the problem. I think if you see
when you really break it down, what is, because for me, it's like, ooh, I'm going to Kaimana Classic. I get to see some of the greatest players on earth on the field next to me, on the field against me. I can have a drink at the bar and be next to Manu or Levka and maybe get a picture or an autograph to see, you know, like, it raises the profile of the tournament to have these great players and teams there. Like, I understand. I really do. I'm being hardcore defensive about it because I still like I definitely have a position on this,
Yeah.
or else I wouldn't be doing the projects that I do. But I see the other side of it, and I don't want to like be like, oh, poor babies, don't cry yourself away. Like, but at the same time, like I do think the invitation of more people doing that and more stars coming to this tournament or another team, or people like having to like over focus or over train or like recruit better or whatever it is so that they can counter that is good for the tournament. It's good for that event for sure that's being attended by a super team. So
I think if you
that's
look in the comments as well, there is definitely a mix of opinion on this. You can see a lot of people do enjoy the presence of the super teams there, and we're really excited about when they've had chance to play the super team, they've been really excited about the opportunity to play against players at that level. I think that I'm still very pro super having these super team stuff. I think it's great, especially the commercial ones that are like kind of building like putting money in the sport to market products. I love that commercialization of the sport to push that in that direction. And I think that the only time I would start worrying is like when the only way to win the tournament was to make the super team. Right now, that's not the case, right? Not every LTTV super team has been successful. Tokay super team last year at London Invite, in the end, got beaten out by the other World Games teams, despite beating the US World Games team. And you can see that Kaimana TD hops into this discussion as well. Talks about how this Kapunia Hana and as well as the Linda Lions team, which is, I would say, if you're arguing that's a super team, you're just angry that good players are at the tournament. Like that's just a team of friends who have all decided to go there. But they point out that there's times where these teams have been threatened to be knocked out of the tournament, have been knocked out of the tournament in previous years. And I think that as so long as there is that competition, that in Linda Lions there is a pure group of mates geolocated team compete pretty competitively against these super teams, then seems all kosher to me.
Yeah. Again, I'm always happy to hear it. It was drawn to my attention. Lev, as soon as I came to the party, he's like, "Did you see the Reddit post about you, Rapazzo?" I was like, "Yeah, I did see it already." He's like, "I'm gonna write back," and he did write back. And I think he wrote back well. I'm not gonna engage on Reddit. I don't even know how to use Reddit. I think other people show me. I don't even get it on my own screen. I'm just like, "Oh yeah. Let the kids play if they want to squawk and squeal. Like if they can't work out how to win, and winning's that important to them, like." Sorry, keep trying, kids. Keep going. Go to one more trade and do one more sprint. You'll get them next time, champ. Or maybe you'll get recruited to a super team and really have a chance to win. Just kidding. That's not the only way to win. Super team, yeah. So now I'm getting a little bit too cheeky, I think, but yeah, that's how it is. That's my response to that Reddit thread. Is that I still back what I'm doing. I still back it generally. I think I see the differences in a commercial super team versus a win a tournament super team. But I think both of them are good. I think both of them lift the game and it's like demand more to be able to win it. Making more competitive is essentially what that means. It's making the tournament more competitive, and it makes it a cooler space to be in, knowing that some of the best who share your craft are in the same building, in the same park as you.
Steph, let's move on from super teams to super tournaments. We talked more about this at the top of the break here. Kaimana Klassik. Is this a first view? I think it is, right? And how does it stack up against windmills, against world championships, against Thomas tourneys, against Wildwoods? Is this the most super of the tournaments?
I mean, okay, so grass tournaments, beach tournaments, I guess you can consider indoor tournaments, but based on vibes, an indoor tournament will never hold a candle to something outdoors.
I'm not sure that's true, by the way. There could be 10 years from now an absolute like Berlin techno rave indoor tournament could be the hot
we'll
ticket.
See. It could be the hot ticket, but for now, no. Outdoor tournaments, I've been to a lot of tournaments. I mean, you have as well. I think I've got a couple decades on you, so that makes
Yeah.
a big part of the difference. But this has been bucket listed from forever. I've not been to the big U.S. tournaments. I've not been to Wildwood Layout. Uh, I had not been to Poultry Days before it was changed. So there's a handful that I haven't been to on U.S. continental. Canadian tournaments, the old Gender Blender was a dinger. The old No Borders was such an amazing tournament. In Europe, you get, as you mentioned, like Tom's and Windmill are probably the two best festival grass tournaments. Then you get all the beach stuff. I mean, then Ghent's G-Spot as well. There's a lot of good ones. Australia, halibut used to be the way, and then the Asian circuit, the old Hong Kong hat, of course, Boracay, of course, Manila Spirits. You talk about Hong Kong and Bangkok hats. There's just so much. There's so many. Some are long-standing. Hong Kong had an old tournament that was like inside the Happy Valley racetrack. I get around, is what I'm saying. And I think that Kaimana is the top of the heap. There is nothing that has as much as Kaimana. The location, the Diamond Head, the proximity to Honolulu, the in and out, the majority of the team staying at the hotel closest to the fields, like blocked out by the tournament. The weather, even when it's windy, it's still beautiful. Even when it's cloudy, it's still beautiful. You're wearing shorts and t-shirt in the winter. And I think that's a big part of it, like timing. February, I think CFC has a notion of that on the other side of the planet, where most people are going like leave the continent when it's chilling up. Well, this is like now you leave the continent when it's in the middle of the chill, or like I guess getting to the tail end of the chill. So it's just so nice to really break up a mainland winter. And then competitive level is something that I would be putting into assessing tournaments' greatness. And when, again, with teams like Kapuni Ohana and Linda Lyons at the top and like really adding star power to this tournament, as well as the depth that goes, all through the Mana division for sure. Very talented teams. This is, for me, one day to 48 hours after less than 48 hours after the completion of Kaimana, I think I'm happy to say that this is the best tournament in the world now.
Well, if there's a tournament we missed, you should be getting Alt TV out there. You should be requesting Stef, Pazzo, and Noah Brinkworth for your production crew. That's a very important part of this whole equation. Yeah. But then you should tell us all about it. Invite us down there. We'll check it out, add it to the list, and consider.
Yeah, like what else is on the list? What are we missing? The Dubai was pretty awesome. That was a great place for a tournament. So I don't quite put it there. We want to get to some African ones. We want to get to some PAUC, PAUC.
All African we'd love to go to. We were looking at
what else is there? What tournaments are Noah and I missing that should be on the radar next to Kaimana?
Who knows, Stef? I mean, I'm struggling to find names here. People should be putting names in our ears.
It's tough. I mean, Paganello is one that I think has to have some consideration as well. This year, perhaps the Bling Invite. Who knows? Speaking of Bling Invite, I've got a little bit of recruiting done over the course of the weekend. I can confirm that there will be at least 2 more members of SuperTeam that would have been playing at Kaimana this weekend. And you got to remember they're not on Bling. I've had my recruiting limitations, my recruiting wings clipped. But I think it is coming together well. The team is looking strong, looking good. I'm very excited. We will start rolling the campaign any day now, really, to launch SuperTeam, the VC SuperTeam Beach. And we're excited to start announcing some of our initial recruitments. It's going to be just a smorgasbord of talent out there in Lanzarote in mid or early April.
I'm excited to see it. I thought we might get a cheeky preview there, but alas, we'll have to wait.
I could give one name. No,
Give me a
I'm gonna
first
wait.
name. Give me a first name.
Easy, like first name. There's none of them that I can give a first name and not figure it out. Okay, I'll say that there we got one Czech on the team.
A Czech. Interesting.
And it's not a returning super teamer.
Very interesting.
That
And they were
makes
at
it different. I
Kaimana?
thought that no. Sorry, that one no. That no. So I'm not giving you all the most recent recruiting tips, but there you go. Let your mind swirl on that.
Oh, I think I got it.
Here is the invited Czech who is gracefully accepted. But no, I don't know what time it is right now. I'm doing this on the phone, but I think we're getting pretty
We're an
close.
hour in, bud.
Here.
Let's wrap it up for the day.
Yeah,
Take us
that
out,
sounds
Stef.
great. A big shout out to Felix Shardlow stepping in on the ones and twos for our boy Grabco, who's I don't know, got something going on this week. But yeah, thanks to Felix. Big shout out to the Kaimana crew once again. We loved being hosted. Ulti TV loves Kaimana. Big heart. We can't wait to be back. And for the co-host here, no, Brinkworth. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch y'all next time. Can you hear us, viewers?